You know you ain't pay for this.
Hello?
You know you ain't pay for this.
Bitch,
What?
let me tell you what happened. All these niggas in my DM, they be capping. I'm laughing, but I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
Let's start a podcast to talk about it.
Ooh, let's give us something they can relate to.
Yep.
Made for the ladies, but niggas can listen to. Talk about experience, give advice. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe.
This. Unmuted. Guys, can you hear her? Because I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, I can't hear her.
Yeah, I don't think she realizes she's muted.
And I'll
No, I
just
can't
keep
hear you.
talking my ass off. So how long have I been muted for, like the past forever? Well,
You
anyway,
have.
so y'all saw the shit that I was posted anyway. So make sure that you go ahead and share the live, tag 2 or 3 friends in so they can join the conversation, whether you watch it from Facebook or YouTube. And I was not paying attention to my microphone. It's always something. When you think you're doing the shit right, you always end up doing something wrong.
You
But
look good
anyway,
while you're miming, though. You're an excellent mime. Excellent.
thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and allow our special guests to introduce themselves. And in your introduction, I just want you to tell them about some of the things you have going on. You don't have to get too personal, but if you have any brands or any businesses or anything you want to promote, you could go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to start with you, Dale, then Tim, and then Dre.
How are you guys doing? I'm Del Brereton, the brown skin assassin, shoot never passing. Dat Gorilla
Wait,
Train
what?
on Instagram. That's what I said. The brown skin assassin, shooting never passing. And she told me to do a plug. Check it out. In the Minds of Men. It's written for the brothers but sisters. If you want to figure us out, written by me. In the Minds of Men. I'm here just to hang out with the brothers and the sisters today and see what we're doing.
Where can they purchase the book?
Amazon.
Okay.
Is there in the Minds of
available?
Man? Say it again. Is there an ebook available? Mm-hmm. No, you got to buy the paper copy. You got to put it in your house, put it in the library. You know, black folk don't want to read nothing, but go get the paper copy.
Well, I like to read. I'm looking for additional books to add to my collection, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out. All right, Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, what up, people? Tim Clinton. Got a couple books out. Clothing design, owner. I just opened my own mortgage company a couple weeks ago as well. But if you want to know about me, go to my website, timdclinton.com. You can follow me. My name is the same no matter where you go.
All right, Dre, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm fiddling around with this thing. I'm Andre. I don't know what else to say. I guess, for the people that do follow me, I own True Financial Services, the real estate investment stuff, all that, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, so we have 3 great Black men that are doing some wonderful things as it relates to their brands and careers and so forth. So we are going to get into our hot topic of today, and then we're going to discuss our main topic. And of course, unless you've been living under a rock, you guys have basically, hey, that's funny, rock. All right, you'll get it later. You'll get the joke later. But we're gonna, as our icebreaker question, we're going to talk about Jada, Will, and Chris Rock.
My mama.
Okay, so the question is, okay, who do you think was wrong in this situation, or how do you feel about it? Now, I know, some people don't give a damn one way or the other because they don't really follow a lot of entertainment, but because it is a podcast, we do like to talk about some of the hot topics. And I think we could pull a lot from this situation. Now, this is not designed to like belittle or degrade anybody, but you can share your honest opinion, and I'm not going to judge you. I might argue with you, but I'm not going to judge you. So anybody could jump in first. Like, what do you think about the actual incident? Not anything leading up to it, but like the actual smack. Like, do you feel like Will was right? Do you feel like he was wrong? Do you feel like Chris Rock was right? However you want to start it off.
I want to jump in first
Go
because
ahead,
I don't want to say nothing after somebody else spoke. It makes it sound like I've insulted somebody on this panel specifically. But I've said something on my social media, and I've called it the soft Negro narrative. The soft Negro narrative is...
Lord.
Yes, I'm going to blow a whistle on myself. The soft Negro narrative is the concept that this is a situation between Black man versus Black man. A Black man assaulted a Black man. I call that the soft Negro narrative because that individual that sees it like that sees himself as the slappee and not the slapper. And therefore, he can never identify his masculinity as defending a Black woman by slapping the smack out of a fool who insulted her. There's 3 things that are sacred. Can't talk about nobody's mama. You can't talk about nobody's children. And you cannot talk about anybody's wife. And Chris Rock,
I agree with you on all that. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, bro. But
go ahead.
This is my thing with it.
I call it the soft Negro narrative. Now, don't fall into that. I didn't call you out.
I'm gonna tell you why this is my thing, and I'm gonna agree with you partly about that soft Negro narrative. Because what about the other 100? We can use certain language and curse a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's called bitch. Let me tell you what happened.
What about the other 100 niggas that had something to say about Jada? That had something to say about Will? That had something to say about the marriage? What about the 50 Cents? What about all the other comedians that he's been in the room with that he saw post online and say stuff about Jada? He didn't walk up and slap them. He slapped Pookie. He slapped Skinny
Pookie because Pookie is not in his weight category. Pookie need to know, so
that's what I'm saying.
Out of your weight category.
I took it as you want to pick the weakest person that you had issue with to slap him. Because he certainly wouldn't have slapped anybody that would have got on his ass on stage. It made Will look real weak to me because you ignored all the other people. You ignored all the other 55 people that probably could get on your ass, but you want to play tough against Pookie.
You remember Will was Muhammad Ali now.
That was a movie. That was a movie. Will Smith is still
Yeah, but he
soft ass
actually had
Will
to do
Smith.
some training. And let me add some context to that. It wasn't necessarily that something was said, because Regina King, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't sit and watch, she made reference to their marriage as well. I think when they talk about the entanglement and stuff, they have been pretty graceful about that. But this specific thing was about her appearance, and because
Regina
she
was talking
suffers.
about Will, though. Regina was talking about Will.
I mean, and that might be true, but even still, this particular comment was about her physical appearance and about her hair. And I'm gonna tell you where I had issue with, regardless of what Jada has done, regardless of Chris being a comedian, this black man has created a whole movie documentary about black women's hair because his daughter was self-conscious about her own hair. Now, everybody hasn't watched it, and are unaware of that. So for him to even criticize her hair, whether she had alopecia or not, was in very poor taste.
I don't think he criticized the hair. He made a joke about G.I. Jane because in the movie G.I. Jane was bald headed. He didn't make a joke about black women's hair.
But he was talking about her hair because she was bald headed.
Have we all seen G.I. Jane?
Yes.
Yes, we've seen it.
Was Demi Moore's hair not cut?
Yeah,
it was, movie, but first of all, as a black woman,
by choice.
Our hair.
So I saw on the internet.
No. This is my show. Okay, I'm gonna say this as a black woman, because even though we identify similar as black men and black women, there are things that are separate that you can't identify as a black woman, just like I can't identify with you as a black man on certain things.
Okay.
As a black woman, our hair, and any woman really, is our crown of glory, but it's more sensitive for black women for how we get criticized about it. And for her to have to shave her head, not as a style, not as a statement, because of a health condition, meaning that her hair may never be the same as it was before, and then to be publicly criticized about it, and the history
Dina,
of him criticizing her before. Say that again. Enough.
Because it's not that she's bald-headed, it's not that she has alopecia, is that you called out a man's wife who's bald-headed,
while he was sitting right
that
there.
Has alopecia while he's sitting right there. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Okay,
so you as a man now, you're sitting next to your wife.
But as a man, okay, I can't speak for a woman like she said. I don't know anything about a woman. But that same woman ought to look at her man all the other times that he gave everybody else passes. 50 Cent made cracks about certain stuff. He's been in a room with 50 Cent, laughed and giggled. As a man, I can't respect a man that can pick and choose when he wants to man up. So you let everybody else get a pass that you would have to clash with, and you go after the one weak person that you know you can get away with it with.
I mean, can't say that Chris Rock is weak just because he didn't respond. I think he chose to use restraint.
He's about this big.
I've seen Chris Rock in real life.
But that doesn't mean he's weak. It don't matter. That don't mean he can't fight just because he's small. I mean, that's
about 85 pounds with all his clothes on.
Yeah, go ahead and let Tim add in.
So
here you go.
I'm cool with everybody's perspective, but I think that smack was bigger than that night.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't believe that it had anything to do with the joke. I don't think it had nothing to do because number one thing we're not saying is when he made the joke, Will laughed. Now, they're trying to shift the goalpost to act like the laugh was supposed to be sarcastic before he snapped. It wasn't really that serious. I really think, and I hate to say it, I think he's dealing with something inner that was he got to that point where it's like, I am just about to snap. Because he thought it was funny at first until he looked at Jada and she didn't find it funny.
That's right.
So
that's
if we just,
but as a man, for somebody like me, I'm not saying that I would expect. I said for somebody like me, I'm shifting the perspective as a woman. I wouldn't expect my partner to get up and smack the person. I think that was definitely extreme considering the circumstances. And it ain't even about, being in front of white people. It was more about this is your night and you don't want anything.
This is his moment.
Right. That's the only reason why I disagree with him smacking him, ruining your moment. Fuck them white people. But for me as a woman, I think any given situation, whether he was a comedian or a regular ass nigga, make a comment about my physical appearance in the presence of my partner or my husband, I think one of us would say something, whether it was me or him, you know, because that was disrespectful.
But you got it. We dealing with Hollywood. We dealing with professional.
Okay, it don't mean that you can't get disrespected just because you're a professional actor or
And it
you're
don't mean you can't get your
held to a
ass
certain
kicked.
higher standard.
Yeah,
Say that
but
again, Dave.
we on
Don't mean
TV.
you can't get your ass whooped either.
Yeah, but
It showed up.
to be honest, though, I think we taking the disrespect way too far. It wasn't that far of disrespect. First of all, he didn't even know she had the illness.
But you can't tell
Right.
somebody what's disrespectful or not. That's just like if we checking and somebody say something about my daddy and my daddy has passed and you didn't know my daddy had passed and I clicked, you know, even though they may not be justified, sometimes people have a certain breaking point and we're all human. We all are emotional at some point. Now, men are better at controlling their emotions than women, but every now and again, a nigga will, you know, snap. And I feel like they have been, you know, on Jada very harshly for the past 3 years because of the August Alsina situation, which, you know, we kind of ran off with our own narrative and then
And that's none of our business too.
No,
That's
it
none of our
ain't none of our
If
business.
Will Smith is willing to deal with his wife after she slept with somebody else, that's none of my business.
But they wasn't together though, and see that's the thing. And I think sometimes,
I don't buy that, man.
I mean, but that's what they said, and we can only go off of what they said unless we have valid proof of something different. Okay, if they chose to sit down together and have that conversation,
holding her accountable for. We're holding her accountable for sleeping with August, saying she's not worthy of being defended.
Okay, but who was
People
Will
are calling her a
with?
hoe and all kinds of stuff,
right?
Because she slept with somebody else, and her husband has no issue with it. So therefore, it's none of my business. That's his wife. It's not. I can't hold her accountable for something that her own husband is not holding her accountable for, and then declare that him slapping Chris Rock is out of pocket because she's sleeping with other people. Listen, how many guys, if that situation was reversed, how many brothers are out there doing their own stuff behind closed doors in the public? No, they're killing Jada for something that Will says, my wife never cheated on me a day in her life. That's what he says. And we're killing her for that. And then we're saying that he has no right to take up for his wife when somebody right in front of his face. And even if
she did cheat on him and they decide to forgive each other and move forward, they don't give you the right to disrespect them, and it's their business. Just like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z and Beyonce wrote 3 albums about his infidelity. Lemonade was Beyonce's, 444 was Jay-Z's, and then they have one together where they were still talking about the infidelity. They just chose to, you know, do it from a different angle. But Will and Jada sat down after it had been brought to light by August Alsina. They chose to have a conversation to give their side of the story, which everybody's entitled to have their side. Is this side, and then there's the truth. So people just chose to run with it because it was a woman caught up in a situation versus a man. I think that's all that there was. And then it devalued the idea of couple goals. You know, we all have these couple goals or couples that we admire, like Aisha and Steph Curry. Well, not everybody, but, you know, the culture seemed to admire Aisha and Steph Curry, Russell Wilson and stuff. And there are people that rejoice in the demise of relationships. See, we knew y'all wasn't all that when we found out a couple that we loved and adored or liked, you know, decide to part ways. Prime example with Megan Good and, you know, her husband. You know, Megan Good is being blamed, or she was just too much of a host. Either you can't save her, this, that, and the third, for a mutual agreement of them divorcing.
That's his fault too, because you're a pastor and you allow your wife to continue living a certain way, and then you say you accept her, and then you leave. That's your fault. You got to go down shooting. You got to go down with the ship, because that's your fault. You're the one who said she doesn't have to change. She doesn't have to adjust her dressing. You accepted all that stuff, and then when you saw her on the show having sex scenes with 3 different men in that show, 3 different men in one season, now you want to pull the plug. That's your fault, brother. That's your fault.
Listen, I'm on this live and let live thing. Going back to this, I never blamed Jada for anything. The person I was pissed off with the most was August. Like on some real man stuff,
man code.
I wouldn't have brought it out. I wouldn't have said anything about it. What went on between me and Jada, that's our business. She went back to her husband. I'm going to keep it on the low. I don't care how I was in my feelings about it. Now, going back to the smack on stage, you saying about the 3 things that you can't listen. As a man, if another man ever slaps me, like open hand slaps me, like feels that he shouldn't respect me enough to ball his fist up and hit me, that's a declaration of a whole nother type of situation. And what Big Tim said, yeah, it's about a bunch of other stuff. How Will talked about in his book about how he felt like I never stood up for myself. I never, you know what I mean? Will basically said in his book, I've been a coward my whole life, and I'm tired of people treating me like that. I don't say that Will stood up for himself, and my biggest thing as a man is I don't care about what particular situation. As a man, you're not going to disrespect me if it's on the internet, if it's in person or whatever. If you don't address all the other people that did it, if you give 50 Cent a pass or any other comedian a pass, or if Wesley Snipes can go in there and say, I beat Will bitch ass and he know it. You don't say nothing to none of these other people, but now I'm a big bold man. I'm going to go slap this guy on stage. First of all, it was the wrong place to do it. It was the wrong time.
It was the exact right time to do it. You don't do it behind closed doors when he's cussing you on Main Street. Let me tell you something. If you know you on you low on the pecking order with a bunch of guys saying they're going to whoop your ass, you're going to whoop your ass, and then you get to Chris Rock, you say, wait a minute now. 50 Cent can talk. Wesley can talk. But boy, you can't talk. You can't talk.
That's a coward to me. If I can't win with 50, if I can't win with Wesley, I'm still, as a man, I'm going to hold my own. You gonna beat my ass before you treat me like a bitch. But you're going to talk crazy to me. I'm not going to stand up as a man to them, but I'm going to go stand up as a man to him. It doesn't work like that. You can't pick and choose when you want to be a man and when you want to.
Well, could it be that, like, if you have a bad day and shit just piling up, people get on your nerves, and then the next motherfucker walk by, you end up snapping on them?
It was the fact it was Chris Rock, and he said, that brother ain't about to be sitting here talking about me. He dissed me last year when he went on. Remember, Chris Rock last year was the only black person who went on the Oscars, and he talked about Jada and he talked about Will on the Oscars. He had an ass whipping coming for 365 days. And so when Will realized,
why did he address it then?
That wasn't his moment. Sometimes, brother, you got to wait for your moment.
I got to do it on national TV. I got to do it when I can, you know what I mean? I got to do it where everybody can see it. Like if Dale disrespecting me now, fuck the podcast. Let me hang up and go find Dale. I'm not going to wait until we get in the room with 500 people and now I want to address you. Because now I'm slick crying for help, because I'm going to do it where if we get into it, somebody going to hurry up and stop it. We won't be able to really hash it out as men. It was just, I didn't respect it. And all this, I've been seeing women like, if you're not coming like Will, then no.
I don't 100% agree with it, because I think you need to pick and choose your battles. And to me personally, I understand why, but me personally, I don't think that would have been the best time or like to smack him. Maybe like stop playing with my motherfucking wife. Right. That probably would have been sufficient enough for me. But I'm also the type of person that I be wanting all the smoke. So it is a sticky and tricky situation, because of the place and time, and because it was his moment, and it is being overshadowed, and is a potential where he has to give the Oscar back and so forth. And now this situation back.
Don't forget, Chris Rock apologized. Chris Rock apologized.
Well, see, that has been brought. Well, sources say allegedly
that he didn't apologize.
That Chris he didn't apologize.
Apologize. A big dirty apology. Big apology.
Where?
I have it on my Facebook. He apologized.
No, and his team came out and said he didn't apologize. The team didn't issue an apology. Chris Rock's team said that didn't come from us.
Well, we do know that Will Smith did apologize, because it was from his official Instagram. Yeah, and I understand in that moment, he did not apologize for his acceptance speech, because it was one of those situations in my mind. It's like, I'm apologizing to y'all for y'all having to see it, but I ain't sorry for what I fucking did, because I have done that in certain situations where I had to correct a motherfucker, and I had to apologize to everybody who had to see me act out that way. But sometimes people can press your buttons to a certain extent to where you will click. And I'm not saying that he was right for doing it, but I understand why he did it. Even if it was because he felt like he was a coward, or he got tired of people playing with him like that. Because that Laverne Cox later almost got it when she talked about the entanglement in front of Will and Jada at some other award show, and people were kind of dragging her for bringing it up, because it's like, when y'all gonna let this shit go? Like, that was years ago. They said they weren't together. They decided to stay together. Couples do that all the time. So why is it so abnormal? Because they're celebrities that you don't
they had a break. You don't get a break
for
cheating because you declare a break. You don't call life is not a football game. You don't call timeout on your relationship if you're married. That doesn't work like that.
Well, I mean, if they were legally separated, then that's,
At the end of the day, they chose to work it out. They chose to stay together. We, the public, we chose to keep dragging it on. My biggest thing,
and they're gonna keep dragging it.
So how about this? How about we go out on a date? And how about we go somewhere, and since we got to pick and choose when it's time to man up, since we got to pick and choose and fight our battles, let's go somewhere on a date and let's let one of these tough ass young niggas grab your ass. Let's see how you feel. Let's see how you feel when I don't do nothing at that point.
Because at that point, you have sexually assaulted me. So I'm defending myself.
Oh, okay,
how do I know that? But that's
grabbing back.
You know why
legally that is assault. You grabbed me.
You know why black people are really upset about this? Because we have this broken mentality that love is supposed to be always functional, and love is just a choice. And so what some people deem to be dysfunctional is functional to them. Like, if they're not the example of black excellence, what is? Really, what is? Because they've decided to show their whole life to everybody. They're living their life on Main Street in Plainview. And now we don't have that Cinderella story, that Romeo and Juliet story. We're seeing black love in action, and we don't like it because we want some level of perfection that doesn't exist.
No, that's
okay. Go ahead, Tim.
That's stage 2. That's not by choice. That's before it be exposed. See, we trying to judge it on levels that we probably are on. I don't know what people do or in the comment section, but we dealing with $100 million people. They don't get to pick and choose when to have a bad day. We'll look like a fool. Look like a big dummy.
Right. But that doesn't mean they can't have a bad day, because they're also human too.
No,
because I mean,
that wasn't no human mistake. That was mental. Will need counseling. That ain't had nothing to do with.
I mean, and that might be the case.
Why are we trying to give everybody counseling?
It still was a mistake.
We all need it.
We don't all need no dog.
And we don't know if he's already getting counseling. He felt like, nah, motherfucker, you gonna be the last motherfucker that try me.
I
would be surprised if he smacked Kevin Hart.
I'm sick of men thinking and men being told we need counseling. We don't need counseling. Since when do men need counseling all of a sudden? We don't even heal. We scar. And we put a tattoo on it and we tell you a story about it. We don't go through that.
That's where I have to disagree.
That's what ladies do.
That's what women do. Men don't do that.
No.
All of a sudden we gotta be sensitive, and they gotta be dragging us to counseling, and we gotta have some individual who doesn't know what side of the
niggas need counseling, bro.
You got 100 million.
Baby. It's never been how it worked.
You got to understand.
So do you go to the chiropractor?
Absolutely.
Do you go to the doctor?
Since when did we start going to the chiropractor as a race of people?
I've been going to get aligned. I'm an athlete, so I've always gone to the chiropractor.
I'm a competitive bodybuilder, so certain stuff I'm gonna do because that's what I have to do for my body. But certain stuff needs to be the norm. We have so much as a people, some of us, traumatic stuff from our childhood. So you see certain things in impoverished neighborhoods that other neighborhoods you won't see. Like, my kids are suburban. I'm from South Memphis, so I've seen different things that they've seen. So some of this stuff may need to be addressed. There's nothing wrong with anybody going to counseling, because having an outlet, somebody to talk to, will keep a person that's worth a couple $100 million from getting up on stage, slapping somebody, hurting their career.
But that's not what they're saying. They're not saying some of us. They're saying all of us need counseling. They're putting everybody in counseling, saying that the black man needs I don't need counseling.
I said we all do. I didn't say black man.
Well, as a collective.
No, we don't need people. All of us don't need counseling. Just like all of us don't need a chiropractor.
Well, I sure do.
Well, I know I do.
I need both. My
No, I
back
don't need
and my damn mind need to be.
We trying to address a nigga that got 100 million followers on Instagram. We need to stop. This man got 100 million. You know how many people he influenced? Can't have no bad day like that.
Right.
Well, I mean, but that also makes you human too. Because somebody like me, it makes
don't
me
work.
feel
And he
better.
didn't have a bad day. He won an Oscar. He went to an after party that day. He
They will
smacked
never-
the fool
he gonna
talking
be
to his wife
100
crazy that day.
he's
He
gonna be
inspired black
100
men all over the
years
world that
old.
day.
And
He
the
didn't
whole
inspire
time
me.
he's going to
He didn't
remember
inspire me.
for it.
Excuse my language, but that was a pussy move. You know what I mean? And
Pussy.
everybody I knew was like that was a pussy move. You had other
But
people like, oh,
but
that's a
here's the
black man
thing,
holding
though.
down.
But that's why it's based upon opinion, because everybody have their viewpoint and different perspectives as it relates to what was right and wrong, and it's very nuanced. We can dissect and peel back, but we don't know
Trey
what that
said the P
motherfucker
word,
was
man.
thinking.
I blew the whistle.
We can say pussy up in here now, okay? But I do want to move on, because we can argue about this shit all night, okay? We could be pulling stuff out all night about the situation, but we can agree to respectfully disagree about this topic. I do want to shift into, I know we want to keep talking about it, but I'm tired of talking about it. We've been talking about it since Sunday, and I usually don't go more than 2 days talking about shit all day.
We broke.
Yeah, because guess what? My life ain't finna fucking change. My bank account did not increase or decrease because, unless I sold like some t-shirts or some shit. Chris Rock.
Went up.
Because everybody want to hear what the fuck he got to say about that goddamn smack.
You did Chris Rock a favor.
Right.
Bro.
So I do want to talk about dating in your 30s and beyond. I am 37. I'm not sure if any of you gentlemen would care to share your age, but I have no problem with, expressing my age. Say what?
I'm immortal.
Okay, so you over 40.
Yeah, I'll be 43.
You get gray in your beard.
You'll be 43.
Yeah.
And Tim act like he's 67, but he ain't even 40 yet. You'll be 40 this year, right, Tim? Or 39? You'll be 40 this year. Because you're a Taurus like me. I think your birthday is like a week or two before mine.
What's your birthday, bro?
So
the 12th.
I'm April 28th.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's May 13th. So we got 3 Tauruses on this
September
stage.
25th. I'm born the same day as Will Smith.
You're a Virgo.
I'm the sign of the cross.
Oh, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
September 25th. We're born the same day.
That's why you all on his.
Hey, but just don't pick and choose when you let people pick on you, right? Don't let people pick on you for 6 months and then you decide.
I've been whooping ass for years.
Right.
Don't pick
And
a
I'm
day you want to
undefeated.
stand up for yourself.
Okay,
but I met the right one.
Forward. Okay, so we're all about late 30s, early 40s, or whatever, and we're all in the dating game for various reasons. Some of us have been married and divorced, separated, engaged, never been married. Okay, a broad spectrum. I know I'm the only woman, but at the same time, I can't speak to this topic. So, what is the oldest you would date and the youngest you would date? I'll go first. Okay, so the oldest, depending on his energy, personality, and how he carry himself, I'll probably go up to like 60. The youngest, at first I said 23, but then I dated enough, and I'm gonna say you're gonna have to be like 27, 28, because usually the ones that I met around that age have a little bit more mature mind. And I say that because I'm not gonna say age ain't nothing but a number, because there are several factors that can determine a person's mindset, but I don't let that be the biggest thing as it relates to who I'm dating, because I've dated very immature older guys and I've dated very mature younger guys. So guys, what is the oldest or youngest you are willing to date? And be unapologetic about it, okay? Don't give a fuck about what these people think.
Oh, man, I care less.
I know, Tim, you don't.
I'll say fineness and maturity don't have an age.
Okay.
If you fine, you fine.
Yeah, but 16 ain't...
Legal is a different story.
Yeah.
But you're comfortable... As far as going high, I'm talking about the upper end of it.
Uh-huh.
If you fine, you fine. You know?
Okay.
And in respect to the lower end of it, it's really about maturity, and it's really about connection.
I need a number. You
Y'all
can give
gonna
me
put them numbers
your
out
fake
there. I gotta
ass
think
number.
about mine for a second.
I'm not going to be tabooed out here. I ain't giving you a low end number. I'm giving you that low end, but I'll say it's about connection and maturity.
Mhm.
And I ain't going to drag you out your mama's house or your daddy's house. I ain't going in there.
Okay,
But,
so like if she's in her early 20s, but she lives on her own and she either in college or fresh out of college, kind of starting her career, you're
I ain't
open
doing
to
no
dating
college.
her.
I ain't doing college. I can't do college.
Okay, out of college. So that will be 24, 25.
There you go. No problem.
Okay.
That's
I
enough
mean,
for
that's
me.
not bad.
She's a grown woman. Is she living
Yeah,
on her
by
own?
25, well, not all of us. Some of us have matured a whole lot at 25 mentally, but there are some women that are in their fucking 30s that still act like they
Absolutely.
16. So
40s.
all
Some women
right,
in their 40s
Tim
still like that.
or Dre.
I'm never doing 50s or 60s ever in life.
Boy,
Okay, so what happens if you
I'll
get
show you
married
some
again?
pictures,
She
make
become
your-
50 and 60.
make your lips
throw
water. I'll tell you right.
Yeah,
50
y'all
or
put the figures out there
60.
because I can't go in the 50s or 60s either.
Oh my gosh, I'm barely doing 40s because, first of all, number one, the sex is it's a little dated. Gets a little dated the older they get. Depends on who you're dealing with. Yeah. And they act a way. They keep old school principles when you're dealing with that women that are like 45 and up, and they want to be your mother, to be honest, in essence. And they try to, they call you pumpkin. Do you want to go get a bite to eat? They say old
But
stuff.
I give a lot of
Hold on,
pet names.
wait a minute. I ain't done. I'm not done. So if you really ain't my age, I don't want no 45-year-old woman. You're done in about 5 years. So
Wow.
30s, I'm really cool with 30s, kind of like 20. I could play with the 20, depending on kind of what you said, Dale, like, the maturity level. Because to be honest, if you go too young, these kids, to me, is too damn internet. You get what I'm saying? Like, they allow the music, the shade room to develop their character. And so I'm a 90s kid. And so I'm still kind of play in between. Like I can get with the new school, but if you just a trap music, Nicki Minaj, and, you twerking and all of that, I'm too old for that. I'm a professional. So I can't really have my woman out there like that, especially. And I be, D, it amazes me when I see these high 30s, 40s women still trying to act like they 22, 23 years old, shaking that old ass in the club.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute, I still twerk from time to
I
time.
gotta
I'm
take my hat on
37.
Hold on. Let me ask you guys a question.
Tim,
How old am I?
44.
Who else?
50.
Dre.
Damn
How
it.
old am I, Dre?
50 killed me.
Yeah, 43, 44. We about the same age.
D?
I said 50. I don't know.
I'm 52, 53 this year.
Hey.
You're a good looking
And
brother.
let me tell you something.
Good looking
Hey.
brother.
The baddest woman I've ever met was 54 years old. She had a body like a 20-year-old. Nobody could touch her. Nobody could touch her.
How old was
I've
she?
seen those. I've seen
54
women like
years
that.
old.
No
And
good.
nobody could touch her.
I got
Baddest
some
woman I ever met in my life.
I mean, I don't
And
have
so
some.
you,
Especially
and 40,
the
I'm telling you right
Southern
now,
women.
a
We're
45-year-old woman
well-preserved.
is acting like a 25-year-old woman because they're, especially if she's single, she's in the same culture as a 25, 30-year-old woman. She's in the, she knows how to treat you better. She knows how to take care of a house. Listen, and those women are not built or any different than a 25, 30-year-old woman. No different. Let me tell you something. Don't mess up yourself, boy, because up above 45, you hitting the
Hey, Dale,
conduct.
this
You hitting gold.
this a man's world. To be honest with you, the older she get, it just change. We gonna have options as men forever. Women will not.
Well, as long as you have money.
No, you don't need money. You don't need money.
Yeah.
Women like men that look like
I'm
men.
talking about like
they don't care if you're broke. They don't
you
care
can't
if you're
speak.
broke. I'm telling you.
Oh, so you date men, got it.
Nah, women like
I'm
men
telling you,
that look like men. They'll work with you if you're broke, if you look the right way. If you look the right way,
some will,
work
but
with you
not
if you're broke.
all. There's some will, but not all. Because I'm not dating a damn broke one. Now you ain't got to be super rich. You could be building towards something. But I dated a broke one, and that's a no-go. And more so, I mean, like mentality more so than circumstance, because things can change, you know, just like that. But if you have a broke mindset and you know you're not trying to save, invest, build wealth and stuff like that, then that's going to be a problem for me at my age. Now, when I was in my 20s, you know, when I got married, neither one of us had a fucking job, and I didn't care about this shit because I felt like we could build together. But as the years progressed, we wasn't building shit, and I'm like, okay, something gonna happen.
That's a young woman mentality, because older women are more developed. They're more financially stable. They don't need a man for a financial come up. Young women.
Well, no, I wasn't saying from a financial come up. I'm saying us collectively, you know, building together, you know, and that could look different for everybody else. Some people are okay with the man taking care of everything and the woman staying at home. Some people do 50-50 or whatever. You know, I just said I was more willing when I was younger to build from scratch than I am now. Not saying that I'm against it, but it has to be several factors that come into play. I'm not just going off of potential. I have to actually start seeing some results before I feel more comfortable with it.
Most of the women I meet at my age, they are stable. They have $1 million properties. They have 6-figure jobs. They're not interested in what I bring to the table financially. They're looking at a 6'7", 275-pound chocolate man.
Well, you 6'7", ladies see 6'7". You know they like the niggas over 6 feet.
Man, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for, and then they're not looking at my bank account. They're saying, "Do I have manners? Am I personable? Do I have a nice personality? Am I in shape? Do I got all my teeth?" They're not looking at that at this level because they're already established. They're set up. They're good. They're taking me out.
Quick question. Where are you meeting these women?
Canada. Come on up.
They might say Canada.
I want to go there.
Come on up, brother.
Dre's
Come on up, brother. Like
Dre,
you,
I'll
get you on the auction, baby. I'll sell you for $1 million a month, boy. Come on up.
Hey, so Dre, you telling me you telling me you gonna date an old 60-year-old?
Hey, listen. I'm agreeing with some of what he's saying.
I've never dated a 60-year-old woman.
This is me from my standpoint.
A 50-year-old woman, my brother, does not look like the 50-year-old women that we used to think. They are in shape.
That's true. But okay, me as a man, okay, with the age thing and all that about young and old, like, okay, I'm 42. I got my shit together. I'm a homeowner. I got a couple cars. I got good credit. I got money in the bank. I'm a small business owner, blah, blah, blah. These are all things that are factual. This is on my resume. So I definitely want to date somebody that can match me. Like if I move somebody in now, I don't need a woman to come in and pay anything. I don't believe in that 50-50 shit, but I want a woman that's able to hold her own. So if I got mine together, y'all got y'all's together, you know what I'm saying? I look at myself like I'm a commodity, you know what I mean? So I shouldn't settle for anything. I shouldn't have to chase anything. Like I got 1 million shoes, but they workout shoes. I don't have shoes to run up behind no goddamn woman because the way I'm set up right now. So if I'm thinking about dating somebody, these are the things I'm thinking about. You know what I mean? I like looks. I love a nice body. But can you meet me somewhere? Can you meet me halfway?
You know what I'm saying? You have children?
Yeah, I got 2 daughters.
You want more kids? See, I don't want no more kids.
Hey, at my age, I'll be 43 next month. So I got my girls, both my daughters have the same birthday. So I got one turning 18 next month and one turning 7. That's an 11-year gap. So if I started now, I have a baby at 43, 44 years old.
Right. So you're not looking for a woman who necessarily is looking for kids. You're looking for a woman in her 40s plus.
I wouldn't say, 40s plus.
Well, I mean, there are some women that in their 30s like me, they either have been married or have kids, in a whether committed or however they had the kids, not being married. Like I'm not taking kids off the table because I don't know who I would end up with. I'm open to it, but I ain't gotta have no more kids. So if he don't want no more kids, I'm cool. If he does, I can give you one, and we probably can do a surrogate.
I got 6 kids, 3 grandkids. 4 of my kids are adults. I don't want no more children.
Well, I mean, you have 6, so that makes sense,
But however, if I get with a young one, I might have to make it number 7, baby, because hey, we can't.
Okay, stay away from the young one then.
I understand. Like if you're casually dating, and y'all having a good time or whatever, and it's understood that y'all having a good time, that's one thing. But if you're trying to be committed and
you meet a woman who has no children, she's going to want children.
Right.
Well, there's some women that don't want to have children. They're okay with being an auntie.
They might say that. They might say that now.
They ready to go to bed at 9. 15.
No, but let me hit you with this, Tim. At 53, I'm the women that are attracted to me. Your mama is the mama. Let's say the mother is in her 40s. The daughter could be in her 20s, and the grandmother could be in her 60s. All 3 of those generations are attracted to me, based on how I look and my age category. So I'm attracting women from 20 to 50 at my particular age group. And so, and they're impartial. They don't care how old I am. So when you have that now,
I'm cool with. I don't disagree. I'm saying from the point of a woman, I'm okay. You can date whoever you want. This is a man's world. I don't disagree with you. But I'm saying when you start dealing with women that are in their 50s and they in their 60s, you gotta start thinking long.
60s too high for me.
Yeah, but you have to think about like our generation, millennials. We're not gonna be the same 50 and 60-year-olds as the ones that were before us. Like, cause now if you look at 30, we kind of have more of the energy of 20-year-olds. Even though like me, I'm not trying to be 20 anything, but like from how I look and dress and stuff, you don't get that I'm 37 years old. You may say early 30s, late 20s. So it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, you 52, right? Tell her that it's not true. The women that grew up in the 70s look 100 times better than these kids look in 2022.
It's true. You guys didn't have action. They took care of their bodies. These 50-year-old women are in shape.
Bro,
where I'm seeing girls in college, they've never had kids. They got a pot belly. They never had children. They got bad diets. They worried more about their hair and their makeup. They don't even go to the gym. They go get a BBL. They want to get a BBL. Come on,
let me speak on this real quick. So,
because he does
I'm back and forth between here and Atlanta all the time, right? So, I always go to an LA Fitness in Buckhead, bro. When I tell you, it's a daughter and mother that I see in the gym on the regular. The mother is like 54. The daughter is 20, 23, 24. Mm-hmm. First of all, excuse my language. The mother is so fucking fine, it's ridiculous. This 50-plus-year-old woman is built up. I'm talking about six-pack, ass, thighs, killing most. The mother looks better than the daughter, and the daughter is fine. So when I look at the daughter, I know this is what she's going to look like when she hit this age. And I look at the mother and be like, this is what she looked at back in the day. But let's be real. That's kind of a rarity. You know what I mean? Where
no, brother, I'm telling you it's not a rarity.
Bad choice of word. It's not a rarity, but
I'm telling you it's not. I'm telling you 50-year-old women, 50 is the new 30. You heard it from me first.
No.
You heard it.
You know what I mean?
Hey, D. Let me, so a couple of years back, right? You know, I was talking to this. I think she was around 50, 51. We had
now he's saying now he's
I was coming out.
Capping.
Then I got a testimonial. So we had sex, right? And it was the most old-fashioned sexual experience I ever had. She was like, "It's too many instructions."
Was she singing hymns?
So that's what it was.
You
This
know?
guy had a bad experience with an older
Hey, the
woman.
views of these gentlemen do not reflect the views of bitch. Let me
Don't go
tell you
there.
what happened.
Slow it
Because I'm not
down.
having damn bitch coming
Speed
by.
up.
DM, you didn't take up for us.
Gosh, it's too many instructions. Like, I want to go to town one time. Lick my nipple. Slow down. Turn the fan on. Pull the covers off. I'm like, golly, you so old. You need a social security card. It killed me. I was like, you know what?
But Tim, we all have social
I bet
security.
you
So that's
got a
why he
snack
fell
after
off
though.
that age
I bet
group.
you got a snack. I bet you got an Uber ride home.
I bet you she cooked for you too and sent you home
Hey,
with
she
a
came
plate.
to bed with all these clothes on with glitter. I was like, oh my gosh, just be naked. I don't. It's too much.
But she was
All
trying
she
to
needed was
impress you, Tim.
All she
Her
needed was a
feet was
Pinterest
bad.
account. Bro. You should have worked with her.
and
Should've worked
do
with her.
needlework. She probably had a crochet blanket.
As soon as we got
I get it,
done,
bro.
she had,
You had a bad experience with a 50-plus-year-old. Now I
That's
understand.
all.
Now I
soon,
understand.
hey, Dre, soon
And
as
she
we got
probably
done-
was lying. She probably wasn't 50. She was probably 65. You
No, she
didn't
was
see no ID. Negro, you didn't see no ID.
She was
Okay,
calling me-
okay. Wait a minute.
calling me sugar.
I have like more questions. I'm trying to see which one I want to ask. Okay, I'm gonna ask this one because it kind of stems from what we were talking about. Like, how is dating different for you after 30 than like in your 20s? Like, and you can talk about like your
Barely remember my
expectations or
30s.
what you wanted initially. Like, has that changed or evolved as you got older? Like, I know for me, the shit that I was looking for at 20 something years old, I am not looking for now. One of the biggest things was like the spiritual beliefs, you know, because I grew up in a Christian home. I was very heavy about that. Like, if you didn't go to church, you didn't know the past, and I couldn't quote a scripture, I wasn't messing with you. But now I'm a little way more open and receptive because I've met most of the guys I actually met, they were quality guys. They wasn't attending church as much as the ones that were quality and were trash. So I use that as an example, you know, for you guys to see if there was something that you wanted or thought you really liked in a woman, or this is how my wife gonna be if I choose to get married versus now. And then since you're 50, I mean, you done had a couple of decades to pass through.
Spirituality is still on the table. But this
Okay.
is one of the things that you still have to be spiritual. But this is one of the things I put on the table, though. When I was younger, I really liked those angry stush women because in
What do
my
you mean?
mind, I like them angry and stush. You know that word stush? We use that word.
Like
I just
attitude.
like them standoffish. I like those girls.
Attitude.
Yeah, I like those
Easy.
attitude girls because I thought to myself, you know what? A lot of brothers can't get with this girl. If I can get this girl angry and stuff like that, I'm gonna be good because I ain't gonna have to worry about nobody else being able to get this girl. But what I realized after marrying two of them is
Like two of them. Oh, so you've been around the block more than once. You got some experience.
is I realized that, you know, there is such a thing as the angry black girl syndrome. Most of y'all light skin, but there is such a thing as the angry black girl syndrome. And so I had to start changing what I liked light skins, and I had to start looking at black women and women in general on a whole scenario where I had to be instead of looking for complexion, because I grew up in the age where complexion was everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michael Jordan brought us dark brothers back in. It was light skinned Ricky when I was growing up. So I started looking at complexion. I had to start looking at attitude, women who could bring peace to the table, right? And at the same time, we had to start looking outside of the scope. And you black women are going to be mad, but we don't just date y'all now. We got Latinos on the table, Filipinos on the table, Becky with the good hairs on the table. We got everybody's on the table. Everybody's on the table.
You said Becky with the good hair.
Oh, Becky with the good hairs on the table now.
No, but what I'm saying is,
she got more booty than you.
Because we was talking about Jada bald hair earlier.
Got a BBL.
We're not gonna do that because black women have gorgeous hair if it's taken care the right way. Some of these women just not take care of their hair.
Absolutely.
But I feel you though, and I don't judge anybody that chooses to date outside their race. I date
My
outside
race
my
is the
race.
human race. I'm
But
dating in my race, the
no,
human
no,
race.
no. But what I'm saying is, a lot of men do get a bad rep for
Out of the
dating
ethnicity,
outside their
yeah.
race. But I think part of the issue is, it's like some men will say, "Well, y'all black women ain't this, so that's why I'm dating them." Like,
That's not what it is.
date
You know
who
what
you
it
want to
is?
date.
All women like black men. That's what black women don't understand. Chinese women like black men. White women like black men. Everybody likes a black man. So we have our choice.
Like black women
Tall,
too.
dark, and handsome is an international concept of male masculinity. Everyone likes black men. So we have choose and refuse. I live in Canada. Y'all in Memphis. I'm living in a place where it's not a melting pot. It's a mosaic. We've got mixes of all kinds of stuff over here, baby. We got exotic peacocks.
But ain't nothing more beautiful than a black woman, okay? Because all these women be trying to be like black women by getting tan, and they getting their asses and titties done, and well, titties are normally associated with white women.
Some of them just have it. You ever seen a Swedish or a Russian? A Swedish or a Russian
wearing
woman?
Cornrows and braids and all that type of shit. But I'm not gonna shit on anybody, because I believe you know, love is love. It don't matter how it comes.
And fine
as long as you're not,
I don't have a color.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as you don't do it, for me, as long as it's not from the sense of I would never date a black woman because this. Just date who you want to date. You ain't got to tell me why you don't want to fucking date me.
You got to love your own people. Black women are fine up here too. Black women are fine in Canada and Toronto. You know, all the NBA players, you know what the NBA players call Toronto? They call it Northern Vegas.
Wow.
Because up here, you have a Pakistani who marries a Jamaican and have children. You have a New Zealander who marries an African and has children. And so you have this mix of all these incredibly beautiful people, male and female, to the point, boy, you walking down the street, your neck just keeps spinning and spinning around. But the one thing that is consistent, all the women like black men.
All right, so moving. Well,
I didn't get an amen.
We're gonna move to Tim, and we're gonna move to Dre. How is dating different for you guys after, like, I don't even know how to say it. So you always start off like that.
My entire 20s, I was married. I got married at 20. I ended my career at 29.
Your career, your marriage?
I call it a career, but it was my marriage. I ended it at 29. Now, when I got back out on the field, it was kind of tough for me because I believe a man is developed in that space, that from that 20 to 30. And I know it takes a little time depending on if he was raised, had some type of male influence in his life, right? And so I really didn't have that dating experience. So put it like this. By the time I got back out here, I thought I was still 16, 17, 18, 19. I thought the game was still in that day. And in the year, I graduated in 2000. So I'm thinking like, you know,
you was in your white tee.
I
said you was in your white tee. Your tall tee. And Jabot jeans. He like, what she say? Can y'all hear me?
Everybody got froze.
Can y'all see me now? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear everybody. Everybody's not froze to me. Everybody's still moving.
Yeah, everybody still here.
Yeah, well, he probably having some technical difficulties.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
He got that hood.
So for me, my real dating experience started around 29. And now my birthday is May 12th. I'll be 40. So I would have to, if you ask me the question, it would be from 30 to 40. 20, yeah, all my 20s I was married.
Okay.
And so.
All right, Dre. How are things different for you versus your 20s?
I had a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? In my 20s and whatnot. Shit, my 20s, my 30s. shit, my 40s. All right, so having fun kind of cost me a little bit, you know what I mean, like relationship wise, because I had this mentality, being truthful when I was younger. And I hope my older daughter's mom isn't watching. If she is, I apologize again. I had the mentality like, I pay the bills, you got a nice crib, you got, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do what I want to do. In the real world, that shit don't work. Let's be honest. So, you know, you become single, and again, I'm always big on understanding yourself. You know what I mean? And I look at the situations like, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table. So oftentimes I take advantage of that. So you go through the phases of having fun, and then you say like, I'd rather meet somebody that I can kind of chill out with. You get to the point, I can't speak for most other men. I know for me, when you get like, I played the game long enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know, as he said, my career can end now. But now that I'm older and I want to chill out and I want to do something different, it's not as easy as I thought it would be. You know what I mean?
That's real.
I'll pursue, but I'm not gonna chase.
Okay.
I'll put in effort, but I'm not gonna do the work. You know what I mean? Like I'll maintain, but I'm not gonna constantly have to, you know what I mean, be building. So I look at it like, if you meet a woman, and most times, like if you hear a woman talk about her ex, and if I take in the information and the ex sounds like a real bullshit nigga, let's be real. And I know I'm the polar opposite of that. I kind of take the mentality that I definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like the woman should see me in the light, like I'm completely different from that. But then I also have the messed up mentality, like if you dealt with that for this long, then you really ought to appreciate a motherfucker like me.
And that's true. And I do want to piggyback off of what you're saying, because I have struggled with it, because I've had, you know, some negative situations, and I, you know, had to work through them and realize that I contribute to, well, a large majority of it because I allowed it for so long. And then meeting, you know, people that are very quality and stuff, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to invest in this because I'm afraid that it's too good to be true because of past situations. So that's what I have been working on, is not measuring what somebody's doing currently to what I've had in the past and fearing that it's going to go wrong. I said, I'm going to give my effort and energy where it's reciprocated. And then if I no longer feel good about the connection, whether it's, you know, a dating situation or a relationship, then I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to try to stick and stay and, tolerate as much as I've tolerated in the past. So I have gotten better in that sense. So I do understand, you know, how you can feel frustrated when you deal with women like that. I don't know if that, you know, describes the type of woman you've dealt with, but I know that's something that I've struggled with. So I do have one more question that I do want to ask before we end the night, because I don't like to hold you guys too long. I don't want to make you glad twice. Glad I got up and glad I sat down. The last question of the night is, what advice would you give? Y'all know I can't read or write sometimes, but what advice would you give your younger self, or just like anybody that's in their young 20s, you know, dating and so forth, that some advice that you wish you would have had in the dating space? For me, I would say don't rush into marriage. It's okay to take time and build a friendship first, even in a romantic setting, because you really get to see who a person is through time. And as a woman, we tend to rush into relationships. We thinking like after 2 weeks, this nigga, we planning weddings and our family and shit in 2 weeks. So I would say take the time to get to know the person. Don't try to force anything, but also make sure that you're dealing with somebody that's intentional. And, you know, don't overanalyze and don't be too emotional. And I say that from a female perspective versus just a general one. So, gentlemen, what advice would you give your younger self about dating?
Can I go first? Because I just had a long conversation with my nephew about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, don't let looks be the end all be all. If you want to make a list, hey, please, bro, put that towards the latter part of your list. Get you somebody that cares about you. You know what I mean? Not what you bring to the table, not what you can do for them, not, you know what I mean? Get the kind of girl that, hey baby, did you eat today? You know what I mean? Like, go for somebody that's sweet, that's attentive, that has her own thing. Like, look for some substance, because I had to grow over the years and hindsight and retrospect and look back on women, you know, throughout my dating life and look at the ones that were really valuable versus the ones that were the ones that I put on pedestal. Because I think every man has done that before. You know what I mean? We placed a woman on a pedestal that we shouldn't have. So now I'm trying to explain to my nephew, like, you gotta learn to categorize women, and then you gotta learn to see the ones that really have value. My uncle, then, we had a barbecue 20 some odd years ago. I had a girlfriend at the time, pretty girl, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't what my uncle and them liked about it. So we were sitting out, I'm with them old cats playing dominoes. She comes out, asks me, do I need something to drink or something? You know, I'm like, nah, baby, I'm good. She asked them, do they need something to drink? She goes on back in the house. She closes the door. My Uncle Bob is like, boy, you got you something right there. So I'm like, yeah, she is fine tomorrow, look, ain't it? No, bro, you know, that's not what I'm talking about. You know, she nice looking, but let me give you something. Do you see how she looked at you before she went in the house? Pay attention to that look. You always want to make sure you get that look from a woman. So over time, I probably was 20 then. I didn't come across that look again from a woman until I met my older daughter, mama, 4 or 5 years later. Like, you know what I'm saying? The people that actually care about you. So it's those genuine things like, nephew, pay attention to this type of thing. When you take her out on a date, open the door for her. Let her get in the car. You walk around to your door. See if she's the type of woman that'll reach over and open your door for you. That's going to say a lot about that woman right there.
There ain't too many women that do that.
I only want the ones that do that. Fuck the rest of them. Excuse my language.
Yeah. No, I do it. I'm just saying that when I've done it, I've always been like made notice of, damn, ain't nobody ever did this for me before. So I highly encourage women to do certain things for men and reciprocate their energy, because men want to know that they're wanted and they want to be pursued as well. That don't mean you have to chase on either side, but how can a man know that you're into him if you're not doing anything other than being cute or, you know, having these dry ass conversations and dry ass pussy to go with it? So
Man.
We don't want no dry nothing.
Yeah, man, keep the dryness out. All right, so Tim or Dale, either one of y'all can jump in. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Go ahead.
Well, the advice I would give in the whole relationship aspect is to always include my spouse or include the person that I'm with when it comes to like business adventures, decision making, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with her, if it ain't her field, if it's not her thing, if she's not connected nowhere. I realized growing up that women just like to be included. And so that's the advice I would give my younger self, because I probably would still be married if I had that advice when I was younger, because I just did my own thing and I felt like I was so far advanced, and I was like, you're clueless. So, but women like to be involved, even if it's not their thing. And so that's the advice I would give my younger self, and save money.
Yeah. Me too. All right, Dale. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. You weren't finished?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell him 3 things. Number 1, do not become sexually active prior to being married. It will create a sexual appetite that you'll never be able to fill. Number 2, do not get married before 35 years old.
So that
Do
means
not get married before 35 years old because you don't know yourself. You have not vetted the type of women that actually can be in your life forever. You're just dating children. And you don't have the capacity for the longevity that you need for the future because you're just still searching for who you are. And number 3, prenup.
We want prenup. We want prenup.
The number one thing that you put in your prenup, the number one thing is if we have children and we divorce, we will separate and these children will be 50-50. We will both have the involvement with these children 50-50. That's the number one thing that you're going to put in your prenup. And the second thing is that all the property that we amass together will be divided 50-50 because when you're getting along, you're going to make good decisions about your exit strategy with the relationship. So those 3 things, and anybody taking that, run with them. Because as a young man, as a young black man, the worst thing a black woman ever told me was like, ooh, you dark and sexy. That set me off in a chain reaction, girl. It's still blowing up right now.
Basically, you said you wasn't shit. Got it. All right.
I didn't say all that. That's a bad interpretation.
It's okay. I mean, we all have our ain't shit moments, but it's about the growth. You some shit now. You're the shit now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I've had my ain't shit moments too that I had to grow from and mature in. So I had no problem.
Sexual appetite when you're being pursued as a male, especially as a male, it's hard to say no. And I was an athlete and everything. It's very difficult to say no. If you don't start that, if you don't open up that Pandora's box at a young age and you maintain that, you deal with that level of self-discipline when you're young, it'll carry you through the rest of your life. But if you open up that when you're young, you're going to be addicted to that for the rest of your life. It's going to be an Achilles heel to you, and it'll mess up your relationships.
I see how that can happen. Well, you guys, we've been on for 1 hour and 13 minutes, and I'm about to go out. So
You're about to go.
I really appreciate.
You got a date?
No.
You got a date?
No, I don't have a date. I'm actually going to a jam session. I like to go hear live music, and they have this thing every Tuesday night that I go to. So, and because I'm a musician, I know most of the people that are there. But I really appreciate you guys coming on, and I love the fact of the age range because we're getting a different perspective because most of the people we have are in their younger 20s or haven't been married before or had like long, serious, committed relationships. So this was like a really great outlook from you guys. I'm thinking about next week having the younger guys come on and just kind of pick their brains about some of the same topics we discussed today. So one last time, I want you to tell everybody where they can find your social media. So if they want to follow you, they can. Or if you want to promote your brand one more time, go ahead and do that. We're going to start with Dre, Tim, and then we're going to end with Dale, and then we're going to close out the show.
Okay, I'm Dre, True Financial Services on Instagram. I have Maxwell Hill Investments. I really don't have any personal social media just because I feel like I'm older cat. I don't need personal social media, but follow me. I do post pics here and there, but I give a lot of free financial advice, free real estate advice, free credit advice, and so on my pages.
Okay. All right, Tim.
Just go to my website, timdclinton.com, and you'll see all the information there.
All right. And Dale.
Del K. Brereton on Facebook, on Instagram, Dat Gorilla Training. In the Minds of Men. My avatar name is William Tell, but you can put in Reverend Wendell Brereton and you'll get it. And if you need some merch, listen, I'm a survivor. I'm like Beyonce. I'm a survivor.
A survivor. All right, fellas.
What's that?
Working out by the book. I'm like literally going to go on Amazon.
Amazon. When you go on Amazon, put In the Minds of Men and put Wendell Brereton, Brereton, and you'll find the book. It'll look like this.
Pink and black.
There's a couple other titles, but this one's mine.
All righty.
It's $20.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, I once again thank you guys for watching. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. If you have not liked our Facebook page and do that as well. I'm stumbling over my words here. But we're also now on Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Spotify as well as Anchor, where you can actually listen to the podcast. If you missed some of the topics that we talked about on that as well, I have pinned my link tree in the comment section so you can access all of those things as well as the playlist that I posted earlier that nobody heard me talk about. I do have a Bitch Let Me Give You the Vibes playlist as well as a 70s, 80s, 90s R&B playlist mix that you guys I think will really enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. It's time for me to go. I need some edibles. I need some weed in my system. You guys, y'all be blessed. Have a great night. Thank you once again. I'm finna go get high and I'm finna go have me a good time. Peace out.
Bro, I'm coming to Canada.
Come on up.